The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Welcome everyone to episode 105 of the Daily Mother Swole. Thank you so much for joining me on Flex Friday. Fancy Friday. Having a little technical trouble here, but we are back on track. 105. End of the first long week, and I wanted to get into some body weight exercise today, calisthenics. A lot of people have been asking me about push-ups. They've been asking about pull-ups. They've been asking me about where they come into play. Can you build as much muscle with a pull-up? Can you build as much muscle with a push-up as you can with weights? Now, here's the thing with body weight exercises. They are fantastic. They are great for creating stabilization of the body. They are great for targeting type 1 slow twitch muscle fibers. My purpose for doing this show today is to kind of, sharpen the image around body weight exercise in terms of what you can do with them for muscle size. First off, you're not going to get absolutely massive. You're not going to look like an Olympic athlete. You're not going to look like some of these juiced up bar athletes, that do weights as well. It's not like they only do body weight exercises. You can build muscle, you can do negatives, you can do a lot of reps, you can eat a lot of food. But the actual physical overload, the actual resistance that will trigger larger cross-sectional area is necessary from heavier external force. So, for example, if you wanted to increase time under tension, if you wanted to make a pull-up or a push-up harder, you would lower yourself slower, or you would lower yourself slower on the bar. And that would increase the amount of time that the muscle's under tension. That will increase the difficulty of the exercise. That will technically kind of increase the resistance in a way, because you are increasing the time under which the muscle is under duress. These types of exercise with body weight is really important because you're controlling and integrating all the muscles and multiple muscles around a joint together. When you're doing resistance training, sometimes you can do a lot of isolation. When you're doing body weight exercise, it's very much so integration. So a push-up is multi-joint. You're not going to do an isolated push-up. Thanks, Andres. You're not going to do an isolated push-up, right? You're not going to do like a pec fly push-up. You're going to do a push-up. You can do elbows in, elbows out. You could do many different varieties of push-up. I'm a big fan of push-ups. For example, working type 1 fibers, working stabilization muscles, core exercise, core muscles, working the rotator cuff. Push-ups is fantastic movement because you can do a nice slow descent, explode up, and work a longer time under tension and get those tiny stabilizer muscles around the shoulder joint in the pectoral area. All those type 1 fibers get deeper into the muscle tissue. So there's a couple different ways that you can use, let's say, a push-up in your routine, which I'm going to get into in a moment. So they're very versatile. Pull-ups the same way. You can change any grip position. So if you're looking for body control, if you're looking for, let's say, type 1 fibers, if you're looking for flexibility, mobility, what's up, man? Potato Shed, how you doing? You want to get into bodyweight exercise. It's also great if you're starting out. Now, I'm not saying that even an advanced athlete can't do bodyweight exercises, because pull-ups are fantastic. I still do pull-ups. I love pull-ups. I generally like to do, moderate to heavy weight. So what I would do is do negatives, or I will put on a weight belt or something and do resisted pull-ups, or I'll do it at the end to burn out. That's really popular too, to use pull-ups or push-ups at the end of a chest or back routine and just do as many as you can. Sometimes I also try to mix it up and see how many pull-ups I can do in, let's say, 10 minutes. I can come down, rest, do as many pull-ups in 10 minutes, and that could be my back workout for the day just to mix it up. You might have seen when it was Memorial Day or 4th of July when I did 1,800 push-ups, pull-ups, and squats. Different combinations, mostly squats and push-ups. But I was really sore from that because it's a lot of volume. Pull-ups first on back day like a warm-up. Yeah, me too. Me too. Doing any kind of big movement like that, like I always do some kind of like upward, downward dog after my warm-up routine for push-ups, for chest day. For back day, I'm always doing some kind of overhead, like a pull down or a pull up or an overhead pull first, or like a straight bar, straight arm pull down with a cable first before I get into some heavy compound movements. I like to open up the joint. Squats, I do a lot of squats. Yeah, glutes like cannonballs, no doubt. Even bodyweight squats, doing some kind of bodyweight exercise can, one, be a great entryway for someone who doesn't have a lot of experience or a lot of overload on the muscles and on the joints. If they're just getting into fitness, bodyweight exercise could be great because that's all the resistance they're going to need. So if you're just starting out, you don't necessarily need to jump onto a machine. You don't need to, oh my God, I don't have a gym membership. What am I going to do? I can't afford a gym membership. There's no gym nearby. That's okay. That's okay. You can do a lot of stuff at home and see a lot of results and get a lot of change now before having to worry about finding a gym or worrying about, making that kind of commitment. So, hey, Mary. What's up? You can barely move today because of squats on TRX. Yeah, well, if you're, it's just, geez, it depends on what your experience is. It depends on where you're coming from. But bodyweight exercises are fantastic. When you do your bodyweight exercise, here's my challenge to you. No matter where you implement them in your workout, what you could also do is do your heavy set. Do your resistance exercise. For example, bench press. Do a set on bench and then drop down on the ground and do about 10 to 15 nice and slow descent, explosive on the ascent, concentric, slow on the way down, explode up, push-ups right after. Do like a strength endurance set. So do a heavy weight and then go right into the body weight push-up. Back-to-back, no rest, superset, and then rest before you do it again. So you could actually pair them up. And that's a great way if you're kind of like, I want endurance, but I also want strength and hypertrophy, but I don't want, you don't want to go too much towards, I just want to bulk up and put that much stress on my body. I don't want to do just high reps and do more aerobic type training. It's a great combination. So you go heavy for about 6 to 12 repetitions on the bench press or on a chest, resistance exercise, and then drop down on the ground and do nice and slow time under tension explosive push-ups. Explode on the way up, but really slow on the way down, and then drive up. Do like a 5-second count on the way down and then explode up. That's nasty. You're going to be fried. You are going to be fried. So that's a great way to overload the muscles, get what's called strength endurance. You're working a lot of type 2 fibers, a lot of type 1 fibers, and really kind of just, in a way, just think about it, dig deeper into the muscle tissue. So you could use them at the beginning as a warm-up, use them in the middle. You could use them as a primary too, just to mix it up if you want to do like just weighted push-up day or weighted pull-up day. I wouldn't necessarily do that all the time, but it's a great way to start the workout. It's a great tool to implement, especially to superset, and really is fantastic to burn out. It's fantastic to burn out with bodyweight exercises. It's fantastic to do like a lot of lunges at the end of a workout. It's fantastic to burn out doing like, let's say 5 minutes of as many push-ups as you can, 5 minutes of as many pull-ups as you can. I've done this numerous times just to completely fry the muscle after a heavy resistance day. But my recommendation, if you're trying to bulk up, trying to build a lot of size, you could start there, but you have to move into heavier weights. But definitely keep the calisthenics, keep the bodyweight exercises as a part of your routine. Warm up in the middle to mix it up, and also at the end for your burnout. But make sure you play around with the different parts of the movement. Play around with the negatives. Go slower on the way down for the push-up. Go slower for the way down for the pull-up. Play around with isometric holds, with holds for push-ups, positions, hand positions. Mix it up a little bit because there is so much variety with the body. If the goal is muscle size, if the goal is physique and aesthetics, it's a very valuable tool. If your goal is performance and other things, and let's say you're doing gymnastics, you're doing a sport, then calisthenics and bodyweight could have a lot more play. And obviously, you're not going to be looking to bulk up massively if you're trying to be athletic as well for a sport. So remember, any of this fitness information, any of this comes down to, depends on what you want, depends on what your end goal is. You can't be super bulky if you have to be super fast. You can't be super lean and skinny if you're trying to be big and bulky, if you want to gain size. So you have to figure out what you want and then use these tools appropriately for the job at hand, okay? So I'll stay for a few minutes after on Periscope, Calisthenics Body Weight. I have a couple episodes on pull-ups and how to improve your pull-up if you can't do a pull-up. I think it's in the 40s of Daily Swole. So check it out, look back. It's all about eccentric training. It's about pull-ups. And I might have to go back and do another episode, code over that again, because eccentrics are fantastic. But if you don't know how to do a pull-up, I think everyone should learn how. So check that out. I will be here tomorrow, of course, for episode 106 of the Daily Mother Swole. So try that today in your workout. Try doing something with a push-up, with a pull-up. Try combining it. Try that superset. Try doing that resistance exercise with the superset, with the calisthenic, with the push-up or the pull-up slow right after. And then message me on Snapchat or post up on YouTube or hit me up somewhere and let me know what you think, or just tell me tomorrow after you bust up. Because remember, today's Flex Friday, so we got to get some gains today. Know what I'm saying? All right, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace out. Enjoy your Friday. Flex Friday. Let's get it.